those messages in the Bible are those messages. You can't flip them to your situation. You have to use different scripts that's made for your situation. You can't just read a scripture and then flip it.
Like, we kind of treat like scriptures like motivational quotes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we find the word that we want to find something good about, like peace or something, and then we say scriptures about peace. And then, like, we just cherry pick that and we never read the full context.
They see a new piece on you, scheming and trying to get a little piece of you. I know you can't relate because you thought that broken love was a norm, and so you try to do your part and share the love of the Lord.
Alright, we back for another episode, Kingdom Talk. I got a guest in here with me this time. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, kind of tell y'all about himself, and then we're gonna get this thing going.
Well, all right, man. I'm a man of many words. First name is Howard, man. Military, last name
Bluetooth
Carey.
disconnected.
Said disconnected.
Bluetooth connected.
Ignore that.
Okay.
They
Gotcha.
seen this in the last episode where I was like, this Bluetooth thing, I should have told you that before.
Okay, got it.
Don't do that. They can't hear it in there.
Okay,
I thought they was going to be able to hear it in there, but when I watched it back, you can't hear it in there, but we can hear it in the earphones. It's some kind of Bluetooth feature.
Okay.
And I don't know what it's connecting to and disconnecting from, but it just do that like every, I don't know, like 5 minutes or so.
Got it.
Just ignore it. It might throw you off to get back.
Got it. I was like, what? But yeah, man. Name's Howard, man, from Mississippi. Pretty much that's it, man. I mean, humble guy. You know what I'm saying? Ready to learn, eager to learn. This is a new journey for me. A fun one, interesting one. Finding myself throughout this journey. You know what I'm saying? Understand who I am as a man. What God has in store for me. So, yeah, man. And Roland has helped me. He has helped me, man. He was there. He was the one that helped guide me back into it. You know what I'm saying? So here I am today.
Man, so I specifically reached out for you. It's a couple people I'm gonna specifically reach out for. You know, me and my wife gonna do one too. I gotta get my god brother in here.
Okay.
I gotta get my cousin in here. After meeting your cousin last night, I might have to get him in here.
Yeah, he gonna be back here the week after next.
Bet.
He'll be back here.
That'll be when PB get back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I specifically reached out. It just hit me when I was like, man, I your story about being hurt by the church, and it's common today.
Got it.
And just allowing that, because we done had this conversation 1,000 times.
Yeah.
One couple of times between me and you, couple of times because of other people around us, and they saying the same thing, and you give the story, or just but centering the conversation around that, being hurt by the church, the position it puts you in, the mind frame it puts you in, and how it has affected you and maybe blocked some ways of, you trying to get back into a space. And I hate to say you trying to get back into a space, because we learning that, like, there ain't nothing we gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This love is just there. But at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, it could really serve as like a blockage, you know what I'm saying? Get in the way of your relationship. So, go ahead, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you can get as specific as you want. You can be as gray as you want. If you want to avoid names and church names and whatever. But yeah, just get into that. Let us know a little bit about that.
Got it, man. Like you said, we already talked a lot about it. Growing up, Mississippi especially, as far as with the generation that we came up with, you was going to church every Sunday. It was no if and but about it. You was going to church every Sunday. And now, as a kid, I didn't know. I'm just going to church. The first church that I went to, it was good, but then I didn't know what was going on. My mom and dad knew what was going on because it was a family church. growing up then, we didn't have all the money that people, would like. So to spend money on tuxedos and everything like that, so that was one of those churches where it was dressed to impress. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't respected if you didn't come in there dressed appropriately.
Dress code.
So,
Yeah.
But I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? And we all know, for one, ain't no kid finna put no big tuxedo on, you know what I'm saying, in the first place. But that part, my mom and dad picked up on it. They picked up on it. And, my mom picked up on it. And she snatched me out of there. We stopped going to church for a while, but she always kept God there, though. You know what I'm saying? She always kept God there. She always tell me. But to be physically there, we wasn't physically in the church. Mm-hmm. Growing up to like 5th grade, 6th grade, I got back in the church. My homeboy Larry, his grandmother got us back in the church, heavy in it. I became one of the junior deacons, was an usher and everything in the church, and was having fun. But it started to go downhill where I was young, smoking and everything like that. The preacher knew me. He knew my boy Larry. He knew both of us because that was his grandmother's husband. So when it came down to that, he knew what we was doing. You know what I'm saying? We'd be in and out the house and things like that. He knew what we was doing. And it became where most of his sermons was about our wrongdoing. So at first, it came off as the preacher just stepping on my toes, you know what I'm saying? It's just his sermon, but it came too often when Bible study, you talking about the situations that we in, and, Sunday service, every service was about us, and I grew an anger to that. It was personal, you know what I'm saying? And I grew an anger towards it. And it strayed me away because I didn't feel comfortable there no more. If I'm coming here for help, yes, I'm a kid, I'm misguided. We do a whole lot of things probably not proud of. But why would you judge me when I'm coming to help? It's sort of on the lines of judging a person that's addicted to drugs for going to rehab. You know what I'm saying? It's around those lines, or judging somebody who's a little bit overweight going to the gym. You judging these people for going to get help. And it made me resent the church. It made me resent the church because if I come here for help and you judge me, who are you? You know what I'm saying? It made me back away from the church. And just till now, when you helped me get back into the church, that's why the story I told you about when we went to the church, that was the first time, because I've been to some churches after that situation, but the presence I felt there, it was comfortable. It was warm, you know what I'm saying? But before that, I go to church and I feel like I ain't supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. Just felt cold, not the cold of the building, the wrong chills. When it's time for prayer, I didn't feel like it was right. I felt like I didn't belong, but that time I went to the church with you, it was comforting. I wanted to go back. That's how it was. Like, I can't wait, until I get the chance to go back. Yeah. That's what happened that time. So, a lot of times you get strayed away from the church at a young age, but I believe it's worse when you're older. Simply because you're able to process a lot more things differently. Growing up, resenting the church, I just thought maybe I was just doing wrong, on the lines of, how can I put it? Going to church, I felt like I couldn't go to church if I didn't have myself right already. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. And sometimes they don't. And sometimes people don't really. Sometimes people know they're doing that, but sometimes some people don't really realize that they're doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why we gotta pay attention. You gotta realize what it is you really portraying to people. You're saying come as you are, but people can't come as they are. And I understand the church isn't supposed to serve. Well, the church building, for one, let's get that straight, because we all know that the church is the body of Christ. But the church building is still good for fellowship. It's still good for teaching, being led. You know what I mean? So there's, you know, there is, you know, a place where you don't want the church to serve as like a fixing place, like, you know, you come for a quick fix, almost like a drug addict. You come for a quick fix, you feel good, and you dip out, and you only like. You gotta be able to guide that person into leveling up from that. The first few times of people coming in might be a fix. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gotta see it first. They gotta see it, feel it. They gotta see, you know what I'm saying? They gotta experience it. And then, you know, it's like people want you to come as you are. Just
Bluetooth disconnected.
Yeah.
You came back. Hey, they ain't ready for that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, God took his time on you. I bet if we look at your life or this person like that life, God took their time on you too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? His love ain't forceful in any form or fashion. Matter of fact, he gave us free will. That's how we know his love ain't forceful. You know what I'm saying? So why we being forceful on people? You know, are we back in the church now? You can't. There is a fine line with, I wouldn't even say fine line. There
Bluetooth
is a
connected.
call to righteousness, right? There is a call to that, but there, you know, at the end of the day too, with that call to righteousness, that's what our convictions are for us to be able to recognize that, feel that, and be like, I'm gonna turn away from it. But you know, with that call to righteousness and living a righteous life, like, we're not called to perfection either, though. We're not gonna be perfect. You know, we live in a sinful world, a world that has a sinful nature. A lot of us are detaching and deconstructing ideologies and a lot of things that this society has just embedded into us. And, you know, so I could go on a rant, bro, you know, about that.
I'll say it's around the lines of, because one thing, when you said perfection, you know, there are a lot of people out here that try to get, how can I put it? They try to be as perfect as God is, because of they're in the Word now, when that will never happen. You know what I'm saying? So the convictions and everything, a lot of the times, the church will run you away through your convictions too. You know what I'm saying? Like, with me, I smoked weed one time, and now I'm a sinner, you know, like, I'm just basically, you shunning me away from the church because I messed up one time. You know, I'm not perfect, you know, but the people who's been in the church for a long time, and not all of them, you know, not everybody, but there are certain few that hold themselves at a higher place, so that when they see somebody that's coming into the church trying to do right, you instantly have to make no mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You instantly are like put in a place of no wrongdoing. You know, now that I hold you to a higher standard. Yes, you can hold me to a higher standard, but you also have to be there. Your place is to be there when I fall.
It's because they believed the lie that that it's your works that's gonna earn your salvation and that's gonna maintain your salvation. You know what I mean? So it's kind of it's a tricky way of trying to figure out a way to word it, because yes, we are called to a righteous life, but at the same time, he know we're not gonna be perfect. But it's not a justification to go live in your sin.
Yeah.
But understanding his grace is what encourages you to get back up. You know what I'm saying? Like the song, like the song say, we fall down.
Yeah.
You know, we were singing in here, right? But yeah, man, and I kind of want to go back to what you were saying, like the first church. You know, you said when your mama got you up out of there, and you said, y'all, it was a period of time, y'all hadn't gone, whatnot, but she didn't leave the faith.
Yeah.
And I said this in the last episode when I said I like how Tim Ross put it, but he put in one of his podcasts. He said, he used this analogy. He was like, if you got food poisoning from a restaurant, did you just stop going to restaurants? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Didn't stop going to restaurants. You stopped going to that restaurant maybe. So he was like, man, if a church hurts you and you stop believing in God, was it God that you believed in, or was it the pastor, or, whatever the case may be? And in that situation, your mama made a statement with that. Like, we gonna get up out of here, but because that place may have whatever going
some
on.
other stuff going on. Yeah,
But I know who God is.
mm-hmm.
I know who He is to in my life, to my finances, to my pains, to my sufferings, to my kids. You know what I'm saying? So your mama made a powerful statement with that, and you could just see how it played out in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because you never turned away from God, but it's been many times that you had to leave a place. And I also want to comment on because I think people will try to get that mixed up, man. You know how how social media is when you were saying comfortable. I don't want people to mix that up with like an itching ear, like you heard what you want to heard.
Yeah.
Because on many occasions you always talking about like, yeah, Pastor McMinnis, he step on my toes.
Yeah.
Like and this man don't know me from
he don't know me from a can of paint, man. You know.
That man don't know you at all, but you show up, man. You get the word of God, and it's like, I'm going through this right now. It ain't like, and then not only that, the environment, the atmosphere, the presence is there. You know what I'm saying? So, people, some people, it's there. I be understanding where people coming from, because you don't want to be in a place in your life where you only go to church where it's comfortable at, in a sense of like complacency, where you are justified to live in your sin, where you are justified to just stay who you are and never level up.
Yeah.
But I did want to make sure, that got across that. You ain't talking about comfortable in that stance. You talking about comfortable like you. Alright, we back in action. I'm going to work on that, y'all. Camera just ran out of memory on me. I have to dump all the footage. But y'all ain't missed nothing, though. We got everything all the way up to just about the end. My last line of what I was saying at the time. So, no worries. Y'all ain't missed nothing. It ain't like we rambled. We thought we rambled on for a while. And it wasn't filming. But we watched it back. It was right there at the end. But to dive back into things, man, go ahead and go into a new topic, man. I do want to ask, what would you say was like a turning point for you? Even outside of conversations that we may have had, like, I know around August, September, for me and for you, you had a lot of testimony around that time. But was it what? I don't want to say it was just one moment, because I know for me it was a lot of different things just through the past 2-3 years. But I'll let you speak on that.
I'll say, man, for one, getting out the military.
Pull the mic to you a little bit.
Okay. I'll say, for one, getting out the military, it was a lot of change. A lot of change, from financial changes to life changes. I was trying to do everything on my own. Got a beautiful wife there. Still wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Some weight wasn't being pulled that need to be pulled. Had the conversations with her and everything. Some just was missing. Like, why do I have a big burden? And it wasn't the burden of being a husband. The regular burden that we have, being the provider, the protector. It wasn't that. It was, I don't know, so it just felt like something was missing. I was like, man, I'm doing the best I can. My wife doing the best she can. Like, what is wrong? And it wasn't even like on a financial standpoint of why can't I get this right or nothing like that. Nah, all of that was going good. It's just stress and all of that. I couldn't shake it. And that's the big thing around all of it. Kept feeling something was missing, and now that I got God back in my life, I feel what was missing from that point. What else grew me back to it was, of course, when I told you, man, at a rough point, my wife was deployed and I was just in the house all day, and all of those, you just in the house, man, the walls get to talking to you.
Ain't got no time to think.
Man, it was at a low point, and I had went out for some drinks, and it wasn't even like, I wasn't even drunk or nothing, bro, just driving down the road, man, and right there outside the base, man. I wasn't even sleepy or nothing. I don't know if it was a long blink or I fell asleep or something, but when I opened my eyes up, man, I was in front of a car, and he told me to wake up. Hey, wake up. And able to get out the way, and I was like, yeah, he ain't done with me. He ain't done with me. And another thing that just grew me closer to it was just the feeling when I came over here, man, and you had the sermon on TV, man. I just sat there and I just watched it. And it was like a welcoming. As much as I tried to shy away from it because of my past experiences, it was pulling me. It was pulling me. You know what I'm saying? It was a good feeling too. And it's a lot of situations like that grew me closer, to want to learn. That's really what it was. Because the deeper you dive into it, the more you want to learn. And that's the type of things that grew me closer to it. Just basically life. You know what I'm saying? When life start whooping you and you trying all you can and you ain't got God in you, that's when you know you need him. You know what I'm saying? When you can do all this stuff in the world, man, it was that void that was missing. It was a void right there.
Ecclesiastes speak on that too. Like, you can do all you can, but you said something powerful with that, like, because what you said was like, even at first, like, everything was fine, but it still seemed like something was missing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I just have to look it up real quick, because I be good remembering where scriptures are, but I had to make sure I had the right reference. Philippians 4:7. And this is what it sound like. Philippians 4:7. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And what I was going to mention is, like, I ain't want to jump in and cut you off, but it just sound like that peace, like it was a void.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I can tell you now for a fact now, because the same thing was happening with my marriage. And I don't want to go too detailed into it, because I kind of want to save some of this for when me and Brandy do an episode, which we're supposed to do today too. So we be in here working, man. But yeah, it was at this point where like divorce was like just about like the option. You know what I'm saying? Just split our ways. And it was just one day. She was like, "Let's go eat. Let's go talk about what we finna do moving forward." And we did exactly that. But at the end of the conversation, which usually this would be something that I probably would say, but she said it, and it just made it that much more powerful. She was like, "Well, honestly, we wouldn't be right to give this up, and we know we both call ourselves believers, and we never put God in the center of our marriage or relationship, period." And man, things just started to dynamically change from that. Like, I just remember sitting there like, "You right." And just, I don't know how to explain it, bro. Everything just started to dynamically shift after that. Counseling session started to just shift after that. The way we communicate started to shift after that. There was work that we had to put in. I don't want everybody to think, that there's just this magical thing, which there is, this supernatural presence that comes over y'all. But I mean, faith without works is dead, right? There is this work, you're gonna have to put in too. But man, things just, when you change the posture of your heart, man, and you have a source. That source, he's that source that fills all those different voids, man. Sometimes we just can't figure out, we don't know what it is. It's the same thing when they say, like, money can't buy happiness. Like, you find the richest man in the world, and for some reason, they still depressed, or they still on drugs, or they, or they masking, they pain with, "I can do whatever I want, I'm rich, blah, blah, blah. And I'm drinking because I want to." No, you're not. No, you're not, fam. But yeah, bro, that's I can at least confirm for me, and that's what it sounded like for you. But it was just that peace that comes with your relationship with God, it just surpasses all things. It's beyond our understanding, and that's why it's hard to explain it.
Yeah. I say this all the time, man. If somebody asks me, how does that feel? I can't give you an answer. You shouldn't be able to really describe that feeling.
And that's crazy too, because I say the same thing about when this whole shift happened for me. You'd be like, man, well, you know what? I don't know. Man, it just came over me, bro. Like I told y'all, we were talking last night. I was like, it just came over me and was like, Ro, you tripping. Ro, you tripping.
That's what happens.
Came back home from that trip. Man, we're going to church Sunday. I don't know where to start, but I know we had at least been, because this is about a couple months after Brandy made that statement. I was going through with the DWI, the truck, which is kind of demoted and all that stuff. So around that time, man, it was the hype at the beginning around that February-ish, March-ish time frame where it was like that statement came out. It was like, man, you right, I dove in the word, but I didn't really dive in the word for myself. It was a lot of just watching sermons and whatnot, which is good for you too. Yeah. But it wasn't so much of me going into a relationship. It was me experiencing somebody else's relationship, because that's all they're doing when they up there teaching. The ones who really walking in anointing and up there preaching and teaching. You really just experiencing their relationship, and they're trying to get it across to you. Yeah. And it was good for me. I ain't saying for anybody that's in that space, man, keep doing that. But the missing factor was I wasn't diving in for relationship myself. Yeah. And so that hype, it was real good then. I held on to that, still watching sermons. But when I evaluate, like from around May-ish to probably like early August, I noticed some ways that I drifted right back into. Mm-hmm. And I didn't notice this in the time. I noticed this after all this. It's like October, November thinking right here. Yeah. Where I'm playing it all back, and I'm like, okay, that was the initiation. Some things were missing. He brought me through that season. Around August, September, it's like, hey, you here, but I need you here. Because I know you hear me now. I know you hear me now. I brought you through this season, and you responded the way you need to in a certain level of obedience. You know what I'm saying? Now he's gonna call you to level up. Yeah. And
that's the reason why you go through them seasons. And it's crazy because being outside of it, I didn't understand, like when people be like, I'm in this season, or in that season, or in that season. Okay. I didn't understand it. Okay. Never understood it. I'm like, man, it's spring, But I understand it now because, like I tell you, the season I'm in is patience. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
When we think about seasons of our own will, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like you may be in a season of saving money, stuff like that, or like, oh, I'm doing less of this. That's stuff that I've understood that. I've seen seasons like that, but these seasons that God put you through. And it'd be a word. It'd be a word like that just stick with you. Mm-hmm. Like for some reason, just keep like right now, kingdom. Before that, patience was one of them. I don't know where they let go, but I had to go through my notes, bro. Cause I got all them notes. But you keep going. I'm finding it. Right?
Yeah, them seasons, man, it's wild. It's crazy how once I step back in it, a lot of things is showing itself. I don't even have to put too much effort into finding out a lot, I don't know, it's just a feeling, man. It's just a feeling. A lot of things are starting to present itself now. Instead of me asking these questions, why? I don't have to ask why no more. I don't have to ask why these things happen and things like that. Now, basically, man, the thing that you said was powerful a couple weeks back with the gratitude. That's really what's happening now. It's showing the gratitude.
Man, I ain't know I locked it up. What's up, E?
Boy,
What's up?
I need a cookie.
You want a cookie?
Yeah.
Alright, Daddy gonna get you a cookie when we finish, okay?
Okay.
Go get on the potty.
Yeah, though, me seeing what's going on now, instead of me being so negative about it, man, I'm seeing the good, and I'm showing gratitude to the bad, because the bad helps me see a lot more of myself.
You got to.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm starting to take good things out the bad now, you know. I never was that type of person. You know, never was that type of person, you know. A situation happened, I instantly think the worst of it. You know, I lose $1, now I'm broke. You know, like.
Yeah, we over exaggerate. That's how I mentioned too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the other word for me was seek.
Seek, got it.
Other word for me was seek.
That's a good one.
Purpose.
That's a good one.
Purpose was a word that was in and out through that season too, but it wasn't as present as seek and patience. Those two.
That one, patience is, man.
Like, that last season was definitely a season of, like, I need you to be still. Like, you're not, like, it's crazy too, because Pastor Mike Todd and Pastor David have been, you know, preaching on this here and there. They'll mention this in their sermons, but you know, like essentially, like, God hiding you. Like, hey, this is gonna be a season for you because I'm breaking things off of you. I'm transforming you. He just had one where it was part of his Kingdom series, Change Clothes. You know, like, right now, like, I'm transforming things about you, and I need you isolated. And it feels awkward. You feel alone. You know, you feel,
man.
You know,
because now you say that, now that whole deployment makes sense.
Oh yeah. Cause that boy gonna be screaming.
Now that you say that, man, that whole deployment makes sense. Now that you say that with isolation, because I broke off some habits during that time. You know, sit still. You know, because the man that she left, when she came back, I wasn't that same man.
Yeah, that's the one right there. That's the one we gotta get a hand clap for that one.
For real, man. Like, I was not the same man when she came back, man. Like, even now, like, some of the things I do, it surprised her, you know, simply because of during that time, I used to come over here, you know, and we'll watch the sermon. You know, I have a whole lot of stuff on my mind, you know, just being there. And I never was the type of person to be deep into the Bible. Reason being was because back then, you know, the only version we had that my mom and them used to give me was the old King James version. I ain't understand that. It's a whole lot of thys and these, you know, I didn't understand it. So I never, you know what I'm saying? That art, you know, so, you know, so as a kid, I didn't understand it. So it's just until now I'm back reading into the Bible, you know what I'm saying? So now I was able to break down things, but I also didn't, because it's kind of tricky, because you can read those scriptures and apply them to yourself, but you need to understand that those messages in the Bible are those messages. Mm-hmm. You can't flip them to your situation. You have to use different scripts that's made for your situation. You can't just read a scripture and then flip it, you know, because of the situation you in. A lot of people tend to do that, and that's one thing that I was doing. I had to stop, and that's what caused a lot of confusion to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I would read this verse, and I'd be like, okay, well, that means this. And then show you how God worked. Come over here, pass me minutes talking about the same thing that I was reading, you know, and I got a better insight of it, you know. So I had to get out of that. Mm-hmm. I had to get out of that, and that's what changed me when she was gone. Like, just sitting there, being able to understand the Bible. I stopped looking at the Bible as a text for basically how you go into class, like just reading something. I started treating it like a friend.
It's alive.
Yeah. I started treating it like a friend, just even talking to God, you know what I'm saying? I used to think that I had to do, I had to come to him like, yes, he's our king, but I started, I was coming to him like we in a movie, like, hey, king, like, no, I started to be myself with him. You know what I'm saying?
Because he can do something with that.
Yeah.
He can't do nothing with a fake version of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, until you can be humble enough, be vulnerable enough, you know what I'm saying? And don't take those words wrong. Anybody not saying that, like, he just gonna do away with you because you faking it. Because your intention might not be to fake it, but sometimes, at some point, you got to come to that realization that it's like, that's what that come as you are. Speaking of, like, why are we talking like this and acting like this and doing this on this side, and when it's time to pray, it's, oh, thy Father,
Now I come to him, hey, God. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
talking to you.
But yeah, man, I think something else you said though too is I think that's common for all of us. Kind of like cherry chicken. Cherry picking. I said Perry chicken. I'm gonna be hungry. I'm gonna be hungry.
Oh,
but yeah, cherry picking. But I think that's something common for a lot of us though, because we just kind of been, I guess, kind of like taught that too. Like, we kind of treat like scriptures like motivational quotes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we find the word that we want to find something good about, like peace or something, and then we say scriptures about peace. And then, like, we just cherry pick that and we never read the full context.
Because the whole story could be about that.
Like, who's writing to who?
Yeah.
And what is he talking about with peace? Or, was that even talking about God's peace? Or, like, we...
Sometimes you need the backstory.
Yeah, you definitely do. Historical context, all that stuff does matter. And then, and if you don't understand, get another version of the Bible. I know that there's this thing out there where people are concerned with people changing the Bible and all that different stuff, man. Hey, you can't, the Bible talks about how there's a veil. And you cannot change what has not been revealed to you. If you don't understand it, what you gonna change? You could try to put this word, that word, whatever, but
can't change it.
You can't. And the thing about it is, like, because they do this with pastors too. Like, there are situations where there are like new age pastors that are just preaching to the itching ear. But on other cases, there are pastors that are just making the word plain for you. They're trying to actually teach you. They want you to understand. And they would get bashed for that, And it's like, oh, that's a prosperity. No, it ain't. That mean you ain't watch. That mean you just saw a 30-second clip on Instagram, and of course it was a highlight of the sermon, and you're just saying he's preaching the prosperity gospel. Whole time, everything he said, if you go watch the whole sermon, or she said, is convicting so many different aspects of your life. It ain't what you want to hear at all. But it hit home for you, and you submit it to God. So when you receive that word, instead of throwing your convictions away and getting offended, you allow those convictions to come in and you respond accordingly. But Nehemiah, it talks. I mean, it don't really talk about it specifically, but in Nehemiah 8, I think it was Ezra. The Bible literally says Ezra read the book of the law, like plain and clear for the people to understand. Like, that's an example in the Old Testament of that happening. What's the problem with, people want to look at you, I can't do that NIV, I need that King James. Or now that pastor, he ain't, what are you talking about?
I say that's because a lot of people, and I say older generations for sure, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people scared of change.
That is facts.
A lot of people are scared of change, and when I say change, again, we ain't saying change the Bible, but a lot of people are scared of changing to learn new things, new ways. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody don't learn the same. Everybody don't learn the same. I know me for a fact. I'm one of them people who needs the Bible like read in a different way to me. I use some apps sometimes. Even on the Bible app on my phone, I got like 10 different versions on there. Because I can read this version, it won't make sense to me, but then I have to go back and read another version. But a lot of people are stuck. You have the people that are stuck in the old King James version, and then you have the people who stuck in the New Testament, don't want to, because there's some things that you probably need to look at in the old version, But then you got the people who's balanced, you know what I'm saying, that uses both. A lot of people are scared of that change. Mm-hmm. That's the change right there. The Bible. People think that when new versions come out or something like that, people are changing the Bible. They think, like you said, we ain't changing the Bible. Just changing the way, and don't take it the wrong way, but changing the way you look at it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people living in fear too with that too, I noticed. Because the Bible speak on, we seeing a lot of things that he listed that we will see when the time is coming, right? But at the end of the day, we can't really put no time frame on it, mm-hmm. because no man knows. But he did list some things that we will see, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think people living in fear of the false prophet thing. Like, I don't see no reason to be scared of no false prophet or the idea of them. If you're in a relationship, it's gonna be clear. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be clear to you, and I be seeing people just try to force false prophet onto certain pastors and stuff. But I think and God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. Like, why are you so adamant about trying to find the false prophets? Like, they gonna reveal themselves to you, mm-hmm. and God is gonna reveal them to you if you're in a relationship like you say you is. There ain't nothing to be worried about. Why are you worrying? Matthew 6:24. Don't worry about your life. You know what I'm saying? He going to talk about all the different things of the world, the birds and the trees and everything else, and say, "Don't you know that I love you much more?" That's where he going to Matthew 6:33. Seek ye the kingdom and His righteousness first, and all these things will be added to you. Like, I don't know. That's just kind of how I've been perceiving it. Like, why are we so quick to place a judgment on somebody instead of letting it just be revealed to us and be able to move accordingly? Because of a fear. Like, oh, it sound good, but oh no, because of this or that. We're gonna pray on it. Test the spirit. Are the fruits of the spirit showing up, or are things that are not of God showing up?
Because He gave you a shield already.
It's an open book test.
And that's a shield. He done gave you a shield already. What are you so scared of? It's
an open book test, you know what I'm saying? And even myself have had to grow out of that, because I started to fall into that. You right. Oh, I can't. You might walk yourself right up out of a season or a blessing, mm-hmm. A word that you finna get from somebody. Because I was falling out to that. You get to scrolling. Let me look this up. I put my phone down. Mm-hmm. That ain't for me. I'm not gonna be diving in there playing these games. I'm just sit back and let God, the author of all this, do what He do. Because
they're gonna give you more stress in the first place.
That's all
they're gonna stress you out.
That's all it's gonna do.
It's gonna stress you out.
That's all they're gonna do. And then people getting profit, you know what I'm saying, YouTube videos, so they getting, because it sound logical, sound good.
Yeah.
Sound all good what they saying, and it just might not be truth though, but they making money, and it could be the next big topic.
That's what a lot of people look for today in today's world. The next big topic. What the buzz.
And be the first one to speak on it. You want to be the first one to speak on it. So if a fall does come, which doesn't mean that person falls, it just means they're human too. They may make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they do that to control the narrative too.
I said this years ago.
Yeah, they do that to control the narrative. If I said it first, I control it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then you're dragging people down with you.
Yeah.
This is people that's looking up to you and listening to what you're saying with that. So, that was a whole different rabbit hole. But
we tend to get into them.
I mean, it's still stem off that same thing. Nehemiah 8. I don't see the problem with people being able to make the Bible clear to them. Like, and that was a day, man. They sat out there and listened to him read. It say from the break of dawn to around noon, I think. That's 6 hours. I got some notes beside it. That was I got some notes beside it. That was like, some powerful things to me with that. I think I'm blessed. I gotta get a Bible with a bigger text. Some of these books, they got like only like 4 chapters. It'd be literally like 1 page, so you be flipping through. Alright, what is this? Starting it off in Nehemiah 8, verse 1. Israelites had settled in their towns. All the people came together as one in the square before the water gate. They told Ezra, the teacher of the law, to bring out the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded for Israel. For me, that's a picture of the people hungry for the word of God.
Yeah. I can definitely see that.
So now when you see that, when I see something like that, I take note of it and I read everything after. Okay, so what happens after that? What happens? Teach me what it looks like and what the result is of being hungry for his word, or what it even looks like to be hungry for his word. What does that fire look like and feel like? But we was talking about making the Bible clear, and let's see, I think it's got here 5. Ezra opened the book. All the people could see him because he was standing above them. That's what I was talking about, the paradigm shift from the altar to the pulpit. Right. And as he opened it, the people all stood up. Ezra praised the Lord, the great God, and all the people lifted their hands and responded, Amen, Amen. Then they bowed down and worshiped the Lord with their faces to the ground. It goes through all the names, the Levites, Jeshua, Benai. We'll skip through that, go down to 8. They read from the book of the law of God, making it clear. Then they got a footnote beside this. I ain't even never went to the footnote. Let me see what the footnote is. The footnote is, or God translating it. Making it clear and giving the meaning so that people understood what was being read.
So it's been in there. You can always make it more clear. Why is everybody so scared of, why is people so scared of it?
Come on now.
Why is people so scared of it, But those are, a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, now that I've been back in there, a lot of times, man, just got to let things like that, let people that be like, that's scared of it, they'll see it.
I mean, the only thing you can do is sit back and just be like, don't go argue with nobody. Don't go, because now you ain't operating out of the fruit of the spirit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And ultimately, man, like, it serves no purpose for us to be debating. I think it's Romans 12 talks about disputable matters. Which translation of the Bible you read has nothing to do with your salvation. So why are we as believers arguing amongst of it?
Because everybody's scared to fall short.
You know what I mean?
And that goes back to Romans 3:23.
Yeah.
Everybody, we all the sin, we all fall short.
That book of Romans is tough. The book of Romans is tough.
And you the one,
I think it's Romans 12.
I think that's probably my favorite book. Romans.
I don't know. X got a hold on me right now.
You said X got a hold on you?
X got a hold on me right now. Right now, let's see where it goes. No, it's not Romans 12. It's Romans 14. The weak and the strong, disputable matters. Except the ones whose faith is weak, without quarreling over disputable matters. One person's faith allows them to eat anything, but another whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. The one who eats everything must not treat with contempt the one who does not. And the one who does not eat everything must not judge the one who does, for God has accepted them. Who are you to judge someone else's servant? To their own master's servants stand or fall, and they will stand, for the Lord is able to make them stand.
I'll record it.
Yeah, you fine. Okay. Romans 14.
Let me go to that one. Hold on.
Oh, my light's starting to cut off and stuff.
Yeah, man.
I mean, we've been in here for a while. That's how these conversations go, though, y'all. Especially between me and I wanted to bring them in. So at the beginning, I specifically, like, okay, I'm going to call my boy here and, yeah, we're going to get in here.
Yeah, you can come back anytime. Talk like this. Talk about it, man. The reason I love talking to you about it, man, because you can decipher where I'm confused at. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people are scared of that. You know, there's nothing wrong with going to another human being.
At all. Come on, bro. Come on. That's why we got the problem with not going to counseling now. And so many people, we need counseling, bro.
Yeah, you know, like, everybody's so scared of getting ideas from somebody else.
It can be a dangerous place. So that be them things. It's like it's justified, but at the same time, man, vulnerability with God. That's probably the best place you can be.
Yeah. You know, but I when I was going with that was I allow the people that he put there for me. I use the people that he's wanting me to use. You know what I'm saying? Not in a bad way use, but you know, if put it like this, all right, when I was in that dark spot was around the time where you dived in it heavy. Mm-hmm. When you dived in it heavy, I was searching. I was lost though, you know what I'm saying? And you know how the song go, but now I'm found, you know, like I needed that to jumpstart. Everybody need a jumpstart. You know what I'm saying? And he put chess pieces in for you to play, you know? Like he's gonna put people in your life for you to keep going. Cause I ain't no telling what would have happened if I didn't go searching. You know? And just that I should have just searched around the street, around the corner. You know what I'm saying? But I use what he gives. You know, he gives a lot. You know, you just got to be there to accept it and use it.
And for everybody out there, what would it have looked like if I wasn't walking in any kind of boldness and not being obedient? Yeah, we might get different results right now.
Yeah.
The whole time you seeking, over here, I'm scared. And won't be obedient. So all in all, man, because you express it a lot, I'm happy to have been able to be one of those lights, you know. Now the same thing is going to come around to you.
I figured that. Yeah, mm-hmm. I figured that.
Whether you know it or not. Mm-hmm. I mean, and when I say that, not like whether you want it or not, but man, you'll mess around and be a light to somebody that never says a word to you. You don't even know. It's just the way you live. Cause I didn't just watching.
You didn't instill that in me. Cause now, man, the first thing have you prayed about it when people talking to me. You know, I don't know if you believe in the word, but have you prayed about it? You know, I try to spread. I'm spreading the word now, and it feels good. I'm starting to spread it now. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely can feel when I might not even know this person. You know, the person that I hit that switch on, you know, might not even be, they can be around, and I'm talking about it. You know what I'm saying? It'll put it on their mind.
Be happening too. People just be around. Next thing you know, they pulling you to the side.
Yeah.
A week or two later or something. Hey man, remember when you was talking about? I don't. That was 3 weeks ago, fam.
Yeah, I don't, but I'll be more than welcome to help you. You know, tell me what I said.
Hey, it just be like that, man. But that's a great place to be, and for both of us, we gotta keep walking in that. You know, I said it in my first episode, man. I am very adamant about being just as bold about this walk with God as I was about my secular activities. Because we was loud about that.
Mm-hmm.
Snapchat, Instagram, club. We was real loud about everything we did.
Everything getting posted.
Music we listened to.
Yep.
And so now that things done changed, I ain't changing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ain't changing that aspect. I need to be just as loud. Not in a forceful manner. Not of trying to shove God down people's throats.
You just proud.
But you know, just being just as proud about it as I was proud about, you know, that, you know.
You just proud. That's it. And you know, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, ain't nothing wrong with being proud. They feel good. You know, like
once you get over it, man, just every time you get over it, get through something, you know, that God just, you know, just if you would just, every time he got a moment like that with you, if you just go ahead and get over it, on the other side of that, it just start, more peace be coming too. Like, you thought you didn't care what people think until you really acted on it, and you like, I really don't care what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna speak on God. Like, but it's sometimes, you know, you think you really don't care till the moment come, and then, you know, you're like, okay, I did care a little bit, but since I did it,
yeah,
now it just, I don't know, it just levels you up in a sense. Like, it just continues to just feed you. You know, there's power in obedience, bro.
it is, man. And man, it's an interesting journey.
Hey, boy, can't even put a word on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's with the quotation mark. Interesting, because I don't know what to call it. It's just, it's sort of like a kid when you learn something new. You know how kids are. Kids are excited to learn new things.
You said that too, because he called us to that space.
Yeah.
To be more like a child.
That's what it is, you know.
Like an innocent child.
You put a kid in a classroom, get the puzzle in their brains, they're gonna keep on it. Keep on it. You know, that's why kids get bored easily. You know, you gotta stimulate their mind. And that's what it's doing to us. You know what I'm saying? We want more. It makes us hungry. How I said, we're hungry for the word.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It makes us hungry, you know, and looking from the outside, you can see that once I started slowing down, you know what I'm saying? I had to start doing what I tell everybody. I had to slow down, especially for the Bible. I had to slow down. You can't rush that. Ain't no rushing in that. You know what I'm saying? So when I actually slowed down and started realizing, that's when everything came clear. You know what I'm saying? So it's that feeling. I'm gonna say that all the time. It's just that feeling.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, you know, I know we're probably at about the 50-minute mark. So as we're getting into wrapping things up, man, if you had, based on what you shared with your story, if you were talking to somebody who is coming out of that, you know, what would be something that you would say to them?
Like coming out of just a bad place, or?
Oh yeah, because you did talk about multiple things. I was more so talking about from an aspect of how, you know, the church can oftentimes push people away from God.
Okay.
But it ain't true. That ain't, you know, not allowing that to, you know, dictate your relationship.
So I would share that story about how my mom pulled me out of church, that church, that building, put it like that. She pulled me out of that church building, but still kept God in us. And it's your pace. I would share that story first, and then I would tell them it's your pace. This is, your journey with it is not a sprint. It's a marathon. You know what I'm saying? It's not a sprint. It ain't about who can get to know God fastest. You know what I'm saying? Or things like that. That, I would let them know that. And, man, more importantly, I would let them know God is with you. He is with you. Like the church, that building, we always used to hear, when I was a kid, I know I used to hear it, the church ain't the building. The church ain't the building, like whatever goes on in that building, okay, cool, let them have it. You know what I'm saying? If you had a bad experience like I did, let them have it. You can put around the lines of, like you said, with the restaurant thing, relationships. If a man do you wrong or a woman do you wrong, you gonna stop talking to all men or all women, like you gonna stop having communication with humans?
We seeing that.
Yeah.
We seeing that today.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you gotta be a realist. Everything ain't gonna be your cup of tea. That what you gotta be a realist about. Mm-hmm. Everything ain't gonna be your cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? So if this place ain't working, find another one. Just like a job. This place ain't working, find another job. You ain't finna get hurt at a job and then stop working. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't to say to get out the church, but you might need to get out that church.
Yeah, out of that one.
If there's something that's clear, that's not of God in you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mean condemn them, like it ain't our place to judge them.
Yeah.
Just,
you know what I'm saying?
In this season, you gotta put some distance there. Let me go to the church around the corner real quick.
That word you said earlier, the powerful one, when you said seek.
Oh yeah, you gotta
seek. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, E? Alright, we wrapping up, E. Come on, we're gonna go get your cookie right after this.
But seek though, you know what I'm saying? Seek what you looking for. Seek what God is trying to tell you. God probably telling you don't need to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta seek, and that's one of the most, like, the best thing I tell a person. You gotta seek. You gotta seek what your heart tells you. You gotta seek what God is telling your heart. You know what I'm saying? It's telling you. You gotta seek that. You can sit here and dream all day, but if you don't work for it, if you don't seek what you're looking for, you know what I'm saying? That's just like you writing a paper for school, man. If you doing a paper for school, that information ain't just gonna be in your face, man. You gotta look.
You gotta go, hey. Yes, sir.
You gotta look, man. You
Yes,
gotta
sir.
look. That's what I tell them. And I wasn't the best one that sat there and sought it out how I was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say supposed to, but it took me a little time. That goes through the marathon. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I say this, and I'll leave it on this note. When you pray for strength.
Facts.
Because you probably lead this church. Yes, you'll lead that building. But you're going to need strength to get through. Because the stuff that God got waiting on you, He's going to put you, you're going to need strength. Mm-hmm. I ask for that every night. I ask for that every night, no matter what. I don't ask God for no riches, no money. You know what I'm saying? I ask Him for the strength to keep me on the path that He got me on. Because I know it's going to be hard.
Facts. I like that. I think that's a good note to wrap it up on. It definitely was. All that was powerful.
That's how I look at it, man. That's how I look at it. Because through my whole journey, I needed strength. I ain't.
You got something you want to say?
Yeah, cookie.
Got something you want to say? You don't? You usually be in here singing, man. You won't be singing no more?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we're going to wrap it up on that note then, man. I appreciate everybody that tuned in.
Yes,
sir. Get ready to go get your cookie. Appreciate everybody that tuned in for this episode. I think I'll get your cookie, man. What's you don't want cookie no more? What you want? Oh, man. can't do me like this. You wanna come back up here? No. Okay. We gonna get you through. No. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Kingdom Talk. That's what this all about, man. We just want to try to continue to be the light in the world, being led with it. So, alright. Peace out, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
I can't keep falling back. He taught me how to love and now I follow that. Even taught me to forgive and you can't alter that. Some people call it soft, I let them call it that. Now where the altar at? Have you ever felt the true love, a new love? What do you love? I know it's hard when you've only done with miss love. Make you wanna quit and dismiss love.